It's like, bam, you have a cancer diagnosis.
It's important that an organization like YSC exists because there's nothing else like it out there.
I was looking for other young women my age to just see a face, somebody who was going through the same thing that I was, that wasn't 60 plus.
When you're 27, you're invincible. You think a big life is still ahead of you. One minute I was busy picking out nursery patterns or doing a baby registry, and then the next minute I'm reading everything I can get my hands on about breast cancer, during pregnancy.
The wealth of knowledge of the women that are part of this community is just incredible.
I was so afraid that I was ruining my kid's life by when they were so young and being diagnosed with breast cancer.
It's really, I think, given me that leg up in even communicating with my doctor and really becoming an advocate for myself, which is what I really think YSC strives to do.
These women are some of the best friends that I have ever had, and they support me and I support them.
Basically, I now feel like I want to do whatever I can for YSC because it did a lot for me.
It gives us hope and it allows us to carry on in our journey and believe that there's something better on the horizon for us and that cancer isn't the period, but just the start of a sentence.
My name is Ellen and I'm a survivor.
My name is Barb and I'm a survivor.
My name is Victoria and I'm a survivor.
My name is Aziza and I am a survivor.
My name is Amanda and I'm a survivor.
My name is Karen and I'm a survivor.
My name is Meredith and I'm a survivor.
This
is my.
This is my YSC.
I'm 34 and I have to figure out little things like how I'm going to get my kid into a car seat. But when I went to YSC, you know what they told me? Jelly beans. That's how you get your 2-year-old in the car seat after a double mastectomy. Bribery!
Hello. Can everyone hear me? All right, AV working. Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Merschdorf. I'm the CEO of the Young Survival Coalition. Yeah. I'm also a wife, a daughter, a friend to many, and a breast cancer survivor. I started my career many moons ago in marketing and sales. I tumbled in backwards into the environmental world and fell in love with nonprofits. Add a little bit of operations and finance in there, and you have me at age 36, living in New York City, newly married, unstoppable, I'll say. I felt amazing. And then, as many of us in this room have heard, 3 words came into my life. You have breast cancer. And my life changed. But that change has also brought me to this stage right here today. So I get the honor of officially kicking off the 2015 YSC Summit in Houston, Texas, and I'm beyond excited. This event is different from any other event you will ever go to. Just look around the room. Every person here gets it. It's kind of like what Jenna was talking about. You can feel normal here. Talk about a little bit who's in the room. We have over 40 states represented at the conference this year. 6 countries. We have over 100 healthcare providers that are here because they want to learn how to serve and work with you the best they can. 500 of you actually in this room are here because you received financial assistance from YSC's incredible donors and funders. And over 100 of you raised money on your own from your family and friends to offset the cost for the first time we did that. And it's working, and we're excited that you're here. An event like this really is only possible with the support of amazing funders. And there are a lot of them here. And every single one of them made a difference. But there are 5 in particular that I absolutely want to acknowledge. the Avon Foundation for Women, Celgene, AZI, Genentech, and Susan G. Komen. Please help me, give me a round of applause for our funders. So all of us here, from survivors to staff, from co-survivors to healthcare providers, sponsors to exhibitors, all of us here are here around a common diagnosis of young women with breast cancer. So what do we know? We know that breast cancer is the most common cancer in young women. We also know that 35 young women a day are diagnosed with breast cancer. We know that there are 250,000 young women living with breast cancer in the United States. That's why this event exists. That's actually why YSC exists. The point is, there are a lot of us, and you're not alone. I don't really need to say this too much to this room, but the reality is living with this diagnosis and disease is not the most fun. It comes with challenges. Dr. Susan Love calls this the collateral damage of breast cancer. And I don't know about you guys, but I personally had no idea what was going to happen to my body, my sexuality, my memory when I went down this journey. One of the things YSC focuses on is to talk to and educate the healthcare community to understand that the quality of life is just as important as saving a life. YSC is your voice to the healthcare providers, your voice to the public, to make sure everyone knows that young women can and do get breast cancer, and that it isn't pretty and it isn't pink. So for some of us, 1998 does not seem like that long ago. In 1998, Google was formed. In 1998, the iMac was introduced, and we were going to movie theaters to watch movies like Titanic and Saving Private Ryan. For those of you here in the room that are 30 years old, you weren't even in high school yet in 1998. But something very important happened. Something that affects every single one of us in this room. And that was the creation and founding of the Young Survival Coalition. YSC was founded by 3 very brave women who made a sacrifice for the greater community. It was no longer, they decided it wasn't about them, it was about you. And they volunteered and worked for years to make it happen. And that was in 1998. So in the video, you heard some of the survivors that were being interviewed talk about their YSC. And I wanted to take a moment to share a little bit about what YSC means to me, my YSC. So for all of you here in the room who have a sister, or maybe love someone who's like a sister, think about them for a minute. Put them in your head. That woman teaches you. She empowers you. She connects you to others, making sure you're part of the right community. And sometimes she even protects you. That's what I think about YSC. For me, YSC is sisterhood. And there's no doubt that the initiation to get in this sisterhood sucks. But once you're in, which you all are because you're here, I hope you find that the bond is so strong that the love, the connection, and the dedication of the women in this sisterhood change your life. But it's very important to acknowledge that it's not only about us young women who've been diagnosed. All of us have a person in our lives that went through hell with us. This person could be a spouse, it could be a friend, it could be a brother, it could be a parent. YSC calls this person a co-survivor, and the reason is because they get it. They are going through it with you, surviving it with you. Sometimes I think society maybe doesn't give as much credit to those co-survivors. Who's supporting them? Who's taking care of them and creating a space for them to talk and a community for them? And I'm here to tell you that YSC is. YSC always has, but now we're doing it with a new amount of energy. And we're proud because our co-survivors are part of the reason that we're surviving. Another very important part of the Young Survival Coalition are volunteers. This great organization has been built on the back of volunteers since 1998. People who don't get paid and work day in, day out for all of you. As YSC grows, one of my jobs is to ensure that we are reaching young women everywhere in the United States, so that every young woman who's been diagnosed knows she's not alone and knows that YSC exists if she wants her. But it's really important that YSC also stays local. YSC still needs a fit in the different communities because Kansas is different than New York. Seattle is different than Houston. It's different in every community, and we need to make sure that YSC stays that way and stays strong that way. We created 2 years ago a program called the State Leader Program, and these women are dedicated to ensuring that this happens. So far, we have 82 state leaders from 34 states around the country who work every day to ensure that the community is getting what they need from YSC. Another group of volunteers that is powerfully, powerfully affecting our communities are our face-to-face leaders. We have over 100 face-to-face groups around the country. In just a short time, this new program is just exploding. And what they do is they help gather young women with breast cancer, meet in coffee shops. Maybe they're meeting in a park or in a restaurant. The idea is they're getting together and supporting each other and building that community. I think, keeping it real is keeping it local. You have to do it. It's important. So please, all of you in the exhibit hall, check out the different ways to be involved with YSC in your communities. So as I begin to wrap up, I did want to share a personal story. Again, along the lines of what my YSC means to me. When I was diagnosed, I had never heard of a young woman being diagnosed with breast cancer. And, I live in New York City. There are a few people there. I'm not that special. There has to be another young woman. So my research began. And in a very short amount of time, I found out that I needed to get to the Young Survival Coalition. And that made me feel very hopeful. A couple weeks later, I walked into my very first YSC meeting. And to say that I was nervous is an understatement. To give you some perspective, earlier that day, I'd had a meeting with my breast surgeon about my bilateral mastectomy, and this was worse, going to this meeting. I was terrified. I didn't think I needed a support group meeting. Within a very short amount of time, two things became very clear to me. One, the women in this room knew a lot more about what was happening to me and going to happen to me than I did. And the second thing that I realized was I had a lot of questions that I didn't feel comfortable asking my doctor. But somehow I could ask these total strangers because they got it. Whether they lost their hair, growing their hair back, 5 years out, all different ranges of the spectrum. These women got it. And these women became my sisters. This meeting is really no different than meetings that are happening all around the country, even today. And I think it's important to just remember for a moment that my meeting, along with all the others, happened because back in 1998, 3 women made a sacrifice for all of us. So as we move into this weekend, I encourage all of you to think about what YSC means to you. Maybe it is a face-to-face group. Maybe it's training for the Tour de Pink. Maybe it's being part of a research agenda that really actually finally changes the research. Maybe they're online bulletin boards or the private Facebook page. It could be that it's a place where your wife or your daughter found her sisters, and that's how you define what your YSC is. Maybe you're a co-survivor, and your YSC is a place when you need to talk to somebody who really gets it. You can. Maybe your YSC is this weekend, coming together once a year to see old friends and meet new ones. And for all of you here who are new to YSC, I encourage you to ask others what YSC means to them throughout the weekend as you explore what YSC means to you. I think it's okay and actually kind of awesome that YSC means different things to different people. So as we officially move into the YSC 2015 weekend, I want to wish all of you an incredible weekend full of new friends and hugs with old friends, incredible conversations with doctors, learning about new science, meeting new exhibitors and new companies that are here for you. I hope this weekend blows your mind, as Jenna says, as you feel normal for the next 3 days. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great weekend.